why a 304 phase is necessary. I think a 304 phase is necessary just to kind of compete with the nature that you finally get into your looks, and you can finally see what you can or what you can digress in outside the world. Now, remotely speaking, these things or how we pedestalize our reality is that people have so much of their time being placed in a different type of realm where they feel like that they need to combine into one thing. In the 304 phase, it's not about just having EX, and I don't want that to seem like that's what it is. But when you're diving and you become better looking, it is imperative that you go through the cycle of experiences with women. That way you understand what to do in the day-to-day life on talking and having these communications with the woman around you. People have a lot to say about different type of discrepancies when it comes to actually messing with a person, having a discernment to actually feel like I don't have to mess with multiple people, but in the end I'm going to continue and sit up here and actually give you the benefit of the doubt. That way you can actually have beneficial ways to moving throughout these experiences. Now, becoming and being attractive at a certain type of point and realizing that these things are going to come at a threshold, most of the time where we feel like, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, it's really prone that you give yourself experiences based off of messing with people, whether you're single, whether you're not in a position to gain these experiences over time. I have a friend, and for his experience, he does not want to mess with any type of woman. And I'm telling him, well, how are you going to go out there and find your wife if you're just sitting there and pretty much not doing anything? Now, I, as a man, have went through the period of isolation. And right now, I'm telling you, like, if you want a wife and kids one day, and we was just having this conversation in the group chat, I'm like, if I want a wife and kids, why not feel imperative to or rationalize with myself like, hey, I have to have these experiences, or I have to put little here or there. It doesn't have to be a chasing game when it comes to involuntarily putting you in a prowess of actually having multiple people. You can help, bro, you can have a healthier relationship and a bond by just gaining these experiences and these lessons based off of the things that you know. And I think he was not taking that with a grain of salt, because he's like, why I gotta talk to a girl to gain some experiences to find my wife? And I'm like, you see how that sounds? Like, having experiences to find the love of your life is the reason why you're going to find the love of your life. If I didn't talk to any woman in my life, then there's no possible way that I could sit up here and actually pull a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10. You see these baddies on Instagram, you see this, that, the third. Like, I've got caught handsome by IG model. And that's not to be no narcissist, but these are the things that if I didn't have these ego boosts and I didn't keep my ego humble by believing in the things that I believe in, there's no way I can make a 304 phase feel like it is what it is. The problem is that people have so much of their life placed on a pedestal where they feel like I can't remotely go out my way and have these type of experiences with women because of my circumstance. And that's just not the case. You can be fully able and capable of having these small inconveniences. Think of it as like these small regimens that you put out into your life. Make it your effort to have or engage in type of banter with a person or a girl. That way you're not feeling like you're isolated and you can't walk out into the world with real experiences, because yes, people will take advantage of you because you're not, one, you're not healed, two, you're not experienced. And as a man that's been single for 6 years, I can kind of say and have a grand just to the actual feeling of like, okay, cool. Like, I haven't had a girlfriend in 6 years, but in the meantime, I have been messing with other people because I take titles very serious. There's a means of actually putting up boundaries and walls in a 304 phase. Like, a 304 phase is not something that you just take for granted. It is a phase where we're becoming what we are, and we're voluntarily having these experiences with different people in order to find our landscape. Even in the video that I saw with this dude explaining the reason why a 304 phase was mandatory and what allowed me to make this video, is that he made me feel like that, going through this, if I didn't go through it and I just, became handsome and was humble and did all that other type of stuff, I wouldn't have realized, like, man, like, once you grow up into your looks, man, you gotta find the off switch within your mind to be like, hey, I'm not gonna be a narcissist anymore. I'm gonna be very prone to just understanding my worth, and that's gonna be it. But now you're realizing, like, a lot of our circumstances and a lot of what we feel is mandatory. Like, you gotta really make it make sense. If people feel like that we're coming into a conclusion in order to be something that we are, then that means we gotta be who we're meant to be. And that's growing up and realizing that the ego has to be humble. And we're not going to be able to discover that ego unless we go through this phase of life where we have multiple people coming at us and we can't pick or who are there. A different type of structure for how you feel and how lackluster you could be when it comes to inexperience. And I'm going to talk about that in a different video. It's probably going to be my next video, but it's really prone that you are at a stability where you can use your experience trying to get to know somebody, because while you try to find whoever your partner is going to be in the next couple years, it's not going to come at a standpoint of your actual life. And that's what I realized, like, deep down, I'm always figuring out that life can come at a certain type of point where I'm using it as a means to have a family one day. I'm never going to sit up here and have a belief that a 304 phase could turn out terribly. I think there's been circumstances where I've seen 304 phases go off the wire. When you're not controlling this type of phase, there are many different ways for you to lose, but there are many different ways where you can win. And losing doesn't mean that you've lost in the end. It just means that you're gaining these lessons over time. That way, when it comes to actually finding the one that you want in your life, you realize that, man, I've had all these multiple options and I found no way or validation to actually consider myself as such. It's harder to realize that an ego can be so big. It's like an ego is like this big and your brain capacity is huge. So while you give your ego the time to adjust to these multiple people coming at you, and you're realizing, like, man, I don't got to give every pretty girl a chance, because I'm not going to lie, as a man that done been through a 304 phase, it gets tiring. Like, oh, you got multiple women or multiple girls want to touch you, and multiple girls, you see that girls act like the men and men act like the girls. Like, yo, dad, see this in full trajectory. You'll find yourself pulling men if you're attractive. You'll realize that you're pulling women when you're attractive. It's a whole bunch of different options for you to choose from, but you have to have the willingness in the 304 phase to be like, man, this is getting tiring. I am dead sitting up here feeling like a narcissist because I feel imperative to feel like I'm bigger than the program. Because I'm telling you, even when a man that's went through this, it takes one person to humble the absolute mess out of you. And once that happens, you're going to sit up here and you're going to be like, man, I really got humbled. Like, my ego crash was huge, and it didn't have to be. And as you're stepping up these stairs and you're going through this, this mechanism, and you're feeling like you're gaslighting yourself to drop a certain type of phase in your life because it's not worth it. Yes, messing with multiple people is definitely part of the game. It's unhealthy to make it seem like it's that. Once you get addicted to EX, that is your problem. You have to have discernment. You can't be laundering, feeling like I'm not going to be able to get addicted to this and it's not going to be a ruling game. Realize that deep down in the inside, there's a passion that needs to be found and actually reconciling with yourself. And once you go through this phase and once you begin to discover your shadow, you can make messing with women 10 times easier because you went through this phase of having an everlasting amount of chasing, then humbling the fact that it'd be like, man, I could pick whoever I want and have the decision to move forward in my life as I do see so such. But this is going to be like a 10-minute video. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. This is my little rant on the 304 phase. I feel like, hey, every man or woman deserves to have like a persona, especially when you have an attractive nature to you. Go out your way, do what you want to do. Don't let narcissistic values affect your life when you get past the phase of your life when you need it the most. You know what I'm saying? But go through it. Feel reluctant to actually have experiences, because I'm telling you, if you don't have these experiences with messing with multiple people, people will dog you, bro. And it's not to say like, man, you're not gonna find somebody, but the older that you get, I'm 22. The younger that we are, is the younger generation is experiencing things like this. Like they're experiencing at a faster rate, and as people around my age range, we've already experienced half of the stuff we did at 20. This ain't like the 90s where, and I think they was experiencing things even younger than that. So we're really just trying to get closer to the point where we want to be in this position where the quality of life is smoother because we've learned from these lessons. And I'll see y'all in the next video about inexperiences. Oh yeah, have a good day, morning, wherever you at. Hope the side of your pillow is cold, and I'll see y'all.